Good evening, everyone, or hello. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone is well. We are live with Anastasia talking about teeth cleaning for pets or teeth cleaning for dogs and how to bring it into your business. So welcome, Anastasia. How are you doing?
I'm great, Bill. Thank you for having me on the show.
That's all right. Thank you for coming and putting yourself forward and talking to us all about teeth cleaning for dogs. Now, the product we're going to talk about tonight is Emmipet, isn't it?
Yeah.
So obviously there's Emmipet and there is also cleaning teeth. We'll just put that out there, just so there is a choice on the market, isn't there?
Yeah.
But you deal specifically with Emmipet, and you're
I deal specifically with the Emmipet.
Excellent. And you're a distributor as well as a end user, I suppose.
So I distribute and also I offer online training courses for the Emmipet, and I do the Emmipet myself at my grooming salon.
Excellent. Yeah, and we ourselves at A to Z, we use Emmipet too, and last sort of couple of years we've seen that using a toothbrush for dog's teeth has been getting us some amazing results and making our customers really, really happy. So I'm really pleased that we can come on, get you on tonight and help other businesses that might want to use this system and advertise this and help their customers with this product. So perhaps we can start with just telling us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the dog grooming industry.
Right, so I'm Anastasia, and I've been working in this industry literally since as long as I can remember. So all my life, just like so many dog groomers, I just always wanted to work with animals. And then I trained and did all my animal management qualifications, and I then stumbled into teaching. So I ended up working as a technician at an animal like a land-based college teaching animal welfare and management. So I moved into being an animal technician at a college. I then progressed on to becoming an animal management lecturer, doing all my teacher training qualifications and everything. And then I was there for 12 years, and that was Newtonrig College in Penrith in Cumbria in the Lakes. It's a beautiful place, but sadly this summer it's closing down. And it was maybe about 7 years ago. I've been teaching for 12 years. It was long hours. It was really hard work. And I just thought, you know what? I just want to do something for myself.
You thought you'd have an easier life and go into dog grooming?
Yeah, I did. And it was actually an easier life to begin with when I first started the business. But then, as all groomers do, you end up taking on like extra clients and working longer hours, and then it all, it can get really, really hard going, can the grooming. So I've had my grooming business for about 7 years now. It's going to be 7 this August.
Awesome.
And I got into the teeth cleaning in about 2018, so it was a few years ago now. I'd seen the Emmipet at Master Groom a year previous to that, but like most groomers, I was being a bit hesitant. It was quite new on the market at the time. I was like, does this really work? Is it worth the money? And then I had Wayne from Scissor Yappy came to my salon, and he did a seminar in my salon, and he was raving on about the Emmipet toothbrush. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to bite the bullet and I'm going to buy it. And I got the toothbrush, and honestly, I bought it off Angela Rollinson. And within the first month, I thought, why the hell didn't I buy this a year ago? It paid for itself 3 times over in its first month. And then month on month on month, it continued to pay for itself over and over and over again. So in the first year, this little tiny toothbrush had made me like literally thousands and thousands of pounds. And I just thought I was so silly not to get the Emmipet toothbrush. But yeah, so then Angela Rollison, who I got the toothbrush off, she kept sort of chipping away at us saying, you'd be really good at distributing. And I was going, no, not for me. I'm too busy grooming. That was my excuse. And I had these sort of limiting beliefs that I couldn't do it. And then in 2019, I just decided that I would do a little bit of distributing. And that's how I got into that in 2019. And then the dog's tooth fairy's just grown since then, and it's word of mouth now. A lot of groomers will recommend my services, and a lot of groomers come to me to get products, and they now come to me to get Emmi-Pet training. So I absolutely love the distributing side. It's really good, and I'm enjoying it a lot.
Excellent. And we're going to discuss the distribution side of things a little bit later, aren't we? Just talk about that, because that's another string to your business, isn't it? It's another stream of revenue, another bit of income for you. So we'll talk about that in a bit. But so you've been grooming for 7 years. What did you have members of staff? How busy are you? What kind of numbers of dogs do you do?
So I have one employee, and we're actually really lucky in this salon because we've got it's actually an ex-police station. So it's an old cop shop. So it's like it's a tiny little cutesy bungalow in the middle of a little market town, and it's got little grassy lawns out the front. It's got about 7 rooms in it, so it's brilliant. But we have like a great big grooming space that used to be the main admin offices, and then there's like where there used to be little cells and that sort of thing. But it's brilliant because it's,
you keep the dogs in the cells, do you?
Yeah. But it's because it's obviously the police station, it's a little bit off the beaten track, so it's not on the main street, which is brilliant because we've got so much parking outside, and then there's plenty of space around the back where all the cop cars used to be. When I first set my business 7 years ago, I had a little small shop on the main street. That was right next door to a pound shop, so that was brilliant because everybody was going in and out the pound shop, and they would come in and just like walk in, people wanting to make appointments. So I did that for I think 2.5 years, and then I got the chance to get bigger premises and take on a staff member. So I jumped at the chance to get the bigger premises because it was going to be better. But obviously this is much better, and although it's off the beaten track now, it doesn't really matter because all of our clients are repeat clients. So it works.
You don't necessarily need a place on the high street, do you? You can advertise.
No.
All your advertising will get the people to you. So I take it your member of staff does the teeth cleaning as well, or is it just yourself?
She does the teeth cleaning as well. Yeah.
So how often do you do every customer you come in? Do you do everyone's teeth, or is it?
The toothbrush is getting used pretty much every day. We do try and encourage all of our clients to take up the Emmipet service, and a lot of people are interested in it, and we just do it as like an add-on to the groom. So if it's regular clients that are coming in, they just get it added on with their grooming treatment. But obviously if there's heavy tartar in place initially, then we get them in like regularly, like sort of every other day, just to shift the tartar and get them a nice clean slate. And then once we've got the clean slate, we then slip to maintenance teeth cleaning.
Brilliant. Okay. So tell us about the toothbrush, and if people out there that are watching, they don't actually know anything about it or how it actually works, perhaps you can tell us how it all works.
Right. So this is my toothbrush here. This is the 2nd generation Emmipet toothbrush. So the one that I originally bought in 2018 was the first version, and I've just invested in the 2nd version about a year ago. The 2nd version I find is a lot more powerful. It shifts tartar a lot quicker. And when I'm selling the Emmipet toothbrush to groomers, if they're professionally grooming, I tell them not even to look at the 1st generation one. I tell them to go for this one because they'll get better results with it. And the price, it's not that much price difference, and you just want to be getting the 2nd generation one. So how it works is, if you look at it there, that's
I've always been amazed because you turn the toothbrush on and it's just like, is it working? It's silent, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's completely silent. It doesn't vibrate. It doesn't make any noise whatsoever. So the only way that you can tell if it's working is if that green light's on. So the green light only comes on and works when you've got a toothbrush head on the end of the toothbrush. And I mark mine up with permanent marker just so that I know all the dogs' names. Other people might do different ways of identifying the brushes, but that's what I do.
Yeah, so every dog has its own toothbrush head, doesn't it?
Yeah. So every individual dog must have their own toothbrush head. the other brand that we talked about, Clean Your Teeth, I believe that their toothbrush head gets used between the clients, but with Emmipet, every dog has their own toothbrush head. I factor that cost into the client's first session, so they buy their own toothbrush. If their dog nibbles or chews or breaks the toothbrush, the client's responsible for buying another brush head off me.
Do you put that in your sort of terms and conditions, or?
Yeah, it's in the disclaimer.
All right, cool.
So this has got a battery in it and it sits on a charger. So when you press it on, what happens is the ultrasound waves pass along here and they connect to the toothbrush head. And this has got like wires inside it. So the ultrasound travels all the way up here into the little I'm going to try and pronounce it properly, piezo chip. I hope I've said that right. So every toothbrush head has a little magic chip in here. So when the ultrasound waves come down the toothbrush and they react with the chip that's in this toothbrush head, the waves pass up these bristles. And when you've put your toothpaste and your water on the end of the toothbrush there, it creates tiny little nano bubbles. Okay, so it's really important to keep the bristle health in order. So if you've got dogs that like to chew on the bristles and these bristles get splayed, what you'll find is when the brush is on, this green light won't work, or it might flash red and you might think it's out of battery, but it really just needs a new brush head. So the good thing about the Emmipet is the chip is in the brush head. So if you get a malfunction at all and you've got like a red light flashing, it's just a problem with the brush head. You need to replace your brush head, which is a cost of you of £5 or £6. Whereas with the other brand, the chip is down here in the handset. So if you get a problem with your chip, you need to replace the whole handset. So that's why the Emmipet's quite good from that point of view. Okay,
so it's quite intelligent in a way that if the dog damages the head or the bristles, and to the point where it can't work, it will kind of tell you, won't it?
Yeah, and it's I have to say this as well. There's 96 million oscillations per minute, and the oscillations is the time that the wave goes up and down. So that's an oscillation. There's 96 million of them in a minute. So it really does. It is a workhorse.
It is. And what about the toothpaste? Is special toothpaste that you have to use with it?
Yeah, so the Emmi-Pet toothbrush, the Emmi-Pet toothpaste is designed to work with the Emmi-Pet toothbrush. So I wouldn't use any other brands of toothpaste. I would only use the Emmi-Pet toothpaste.
And that helps. The toothpaste as well helps to break down the plaque and tartar and stuff. Yeah.
So the toothpaste, in conjunction with the toothbrush, helps to break down and soften the plaque and the tartar, and it works on the bacteria as well by breaking all of that down.
Cool. So we, you might have visions of your kids brushing their teeth at night, like their electric toothbrush, but it's a bit different to that, isn't it? It's not, you don't go around the dog's mouth like you would your kid's mouth or your own mouth. Mm-hmm. You're kind of, from what I've seen Emma do in our own salon, it's kind of holding that toothbrush head on a particular tooth and working on it, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's so you're not manually brushing it from side to side. So that's why a lot of dogs can tolerate it. And it's not like these electric toothbrushes where you've got a little spinning circle brush on the end of it. So you literally just hold it on the tooth with the toothpaste and the water, and then you pass it from the tooth to the next tooth to the next tooth. And I tend to try and work on each tooth for around about 30 seconds. But obviously when you're first starting out with a new dog that's never had this done before, you might just want to work on that dog's tooth for maybe 5 seconds or whatever the dog will let you do. And it's all about positive reinforcement and encouragement with the dog. So maybe a little teeny treat reward or a stroke, just to make that dog feel comfortable. So I tend to factor out an hour for my first ever session. I know some groomers might say, oh, I don't need that much time and I'll do it in half an hour. But for the first ever session, I tend to factor out an hour in the diary so that I can do a proper full consultation with the client and that I'm not rushing the dog, and I get it used to the Emmipet and make the dog feel comfortable.
Yeah, I think we're about the same. Also, it enables you to sort of have a good look at the dog and give the dog a chance to have a rest and then go back to the dog as well.
Because it's dog's behavior as well, because if it's a grooming client that you've seen for, I don't know, the last few years, and you know that dog pretty much inside and out, but if you're offering standalone Emmipet treatments, which I do at my salon, you've never ever met a dog before, and then you're expecting to go in its mouth with the Emmipet toothbrush, it's good to have that time to be consulting with the client, analysing the dog's behaviour and just checking everything out before you go in with your toothbrush.
Definitely. And so obviously you get a package, you get the Emmi-Pet package, toothpaste, anything else, any other tools or equipment that you need to get going?
Yeah, so I sell a few things to groomers when I'm selling the Emmipet items to them. So you tend to find that your dog owners, they just need like a basic brush and some toothpaste, and then they're good to go. Groomers tend to need a little bit more because they might need things for marketing. So they might want to buy some Emmipet leaflets. They might want to buy the little Emmipet cuddly teddy bear to go on the counter. Tartar removal tools as well that Emmipet do. There's the rosewood sticks. So they're like little wooden sticks, and they're used once you've been doing a few sessions with the Emmipet just to flick away the tartar. And there's an Emmipet eraser as well. I'll just get them so that I can show. Okay.
Lauren, I'm seeing your questions rolling in. I'll address them at the end or as we go on. Don't worry.
So those are your rosewood sticks. So they come in a pack like that, and it's just, those are the sticks there. So they're actually soft wood. They're not abrasive. It's not made out of metal or anything like that. So it's nice and soft, and it's just used when you've been working on the tartar and it feels ready to come away. You just use it to put against the teeth and just flick the tartar off. So I can even show you on this.
Ooh, look at that.
This is my little demonstration thing. So yeah, you would just use, get your little rosewood stick in there and you just flick it off. So that's what the rosewood stick's for. And then you've got your Emmipet eraser. This one's a bit worn. We need to get a new one. So it's just like a little, I want to describe it as like a little fine pumice. So when I'm touching that, it feels like a really fine nail file. It doesn't feel very abrasive at all. And I would use this when you've done quite a few sessions with your dog and you're starting to get the little brown plaque stains, that just the little niggly bits that won't go away very easily. So I would just use on the teeth. And this is really strange because you think that it attaches to the toothbrush and it doesn't.
Okay.
It's just a hand tool. So all you do is you just tickle the teeth and just get the little stains to come away. And I say tickle because you don't want to go too like harsh with this because you might actually damage the enamel of the teeth. So just lightly with the eraser.
Yeah, and I think it's really important to point out, isn't it, that people just do what they're happy with doing.
Mm-hmm.
And how about like insurance for the groomers? Do you notify your insurance company that you're going to be doing it and
yeah
about it?
Yeah, so when I started doing the Emmipet, I was with Cliverton and I just rang them up and said, I'm offering the Emmipet teeth cleaning service. Is this okay for me to do? And they said, absolutely fine. So I would recommend anybody setting up doing Emmipet that you contact your insurance provider. Just give them a quick call and ask them if it's okay to be offering that, ancillary service.
It's quite obviously the teeth cleaning services are now sort of taking off, so they're probably quite popular. And I should think insurance companies probably know exactly what it is and how it works, and they should hopefully know about it by now, shouldn't they?
Yeah, I think it's very much becoming a thing, and it's grown in popularity so much with groomers. It's a bit like when groomers were offering microchipping and things like that. It's getting really popular, and a lot of the insurance companies just say, yeah, it's fine to add that on.
Excellent. All right, we've got a couple of questions that are pertinent to what we've been talking about. So are there different size brushes for big and small dogs?
Yeah, so they come in two different sizes. You've got small and large. So I tend to say your small toothbrushes are for your small breeds like your Chihuahuas, your Dachshunds, your Bichons, Shih Tzus. And then I tend to think Cocker Spaniel and above size, that's when you go to your larger brushes. So Cockers, Labs, anything, you know, medium to large breeds I use for the large brush heads. I have heard some groomers say they like to use the large heads on a small dog because it covers more surface area of the tooth, so then they'll get the job done quicker. But not all breeds, certainly my Chihuahua would not let me go in with a big brush in his mouth.
Right.
So it depends on the dog because it might overwhelm them with that size of a brush going near the teeth.
Yeah. Elizabeth is asking, how often do we change the eraser and the sticks to flip the tartar?
Right, so the sticks are a one-use stick, but they're actually really cheap to buy. I think a pack of them is like £2.50. So those are like a one-use stick, and then I dispose of those. The eraser needs to get sterilized between clients, put in the UV sterilizer, and I just use this until it wears down. So I go through one eraser a month in my salon, but it depends how busy that your salon is and how much you're using it, I guess.
Yeah, and you can obviously factor that into the cost. And remember, this system, once you've done the initial outlay, the actual cost is just your time, isn't it? Because they're buying you're going to be factoring the cost of the toothbrush head within your prices, hopefully. Yes, you will be. You'll be putting the price of your toothbrush head in your prices, so that the customer is going to be buying that, and then all it comes down to, really, the only cost is your time and how long you're going to spend working on the teeth, isn't it? So
yeah.
Here's a brave Helen's feeling brave and is just asking, can this be used on cats?
It could, Helen.
Let us know how that goes.
Really brave. If you're doing it on cats, what I would recommend, depending on the cat, if it's your own cat and it's quite chill, then maybe you could do it on your own. But if it's a client's cat, I would recommend wrapping the cat in a towel. You know how like the veterinary nurses do it, with the cat's head sticking out, and then just give the cat loads of strokes on its chin, and then just try and get in with the toothbrush on with the small brush head if you can. And some cats would tolerate it, but it's not something that I can say that I've ever tried myself. My chinchilla Persian, she's beautiful teeth, so there would be no reason for me to try that.
Cats can get some really disgusting teeth, and we have actually had an inquiry in our place whether we could do it on cats. I can't remember what Emma said, but I don't think we did it. But if there's anyone watching that has actually done it on cats, please let us know how it went, and maybe we can see the scars. But I think
if it ends up being a two-groomer job and one person's got to wrap it in a towel and hold it, then you've got to factor your costing into that as well, and then people might not want to pay for two people to work on one cat. And yeah.
Certainly something that we might explore if Emma's watching this. She might shout at me in a minute. So Lauren's just asked, can the toothbrush cause any problems if held on the tooth too long? I know some vets are worried about the pulp inside the teeth becoming too hot and causing problems.
I've never heard of that myself. I mean, I've been using it on in my salon and on my clients, you know, on my clients' dogs and on my own pets. I've never ever seen any gums becoming hot or anything like that, so it's not something that I've come across. The ultrasound waves actually heal the gums. It passes 12 millimeters beneath the gum line, so it actually works on the gums to heal them. So if I see a dog with quite red gums, maybe little early signs of gingivitis, and I start using the ultrasound on the gums will start to heal. So you'll notice by the second session, certainly by the third session, those gums are looking really healthy.
Yeah, I've got to say, you know, we've been using the system probably a similar amount of time, and I've only ever heard sort of positive from customers and positive results from Emma whilst using it, and even positive to the fact that before we've even used it and we've looked over the dog's mouth and we've found cracked molars or things like that, and we're like, actually, we can't do it, we need to refer you back to the vet. So I've only ever heard positive results from this. So yeah, it's good. Well, Angela has certainly heard of people doing cats and ferrets and horses.
Wow,
horses, not thought of that one. Definitely not putting my hand in a horse's mouth. I've seen the contraptions that they need to keep those open.
I definitely wouldn't fancy doing a ferret's teeth.
No, we'll go on to charging and prices in a bit, but so how do you fit the toothbrush into your business? Is it an everyday occurrence? Do you find that, do you have a new customer in and do you talk to them about it when you're enrolling them, or do you have a sneaky peek at their teeth whilst being groomed and say, oh, I really recommend you do this, that and the other?
Yeah, so what I did when I first got the Emmipet was I bought some leaflets. So I sell the Emmipet leaflets and I think they're worth the weight in gold, because they work out at 20 pence per leaflet. And so every customer that gets on my grooming table, I see as potential opportunity. So every dog, I look in the mouth, and if they've got any sort of tartar buildup or any sort of plaque, the client gets a talk about the Emmipet and they get a leaflet to take home. And I found that really, really effective when I first started offering the Emmipet treatments. The leaflet explains everything in such detail and it's nice. It's got pictures on it and things. The only alternative to the clients, if the teeth are getting bad, will be the vets. So they've got to weigh up their options and decide which way that they want to go. But the leaflets really help, I find, and that's what I do. I just check all the clients and then talk to the clients about the Emmipet.
And how much sort of detail do you go into? I'll take you. Do you show them the toothbrush and show them how it works, or
yeah? So in my salon reception, I've got a 6-foot roll banner. I've got the price list on a little chalkboard. I've got a photo album full of before and after pictures of my clients' teeth, and then I've got a little leaflet dispenser with all the leaflets in. And then I've got a little dog bowl with Emmipet on with the little dog biscuits in. So the whole thing, it's in your face and you can't get away from it when you come into reception. So they get it like that, and I give them the leaflet, I explain everything to them, and I will show them the toothbrush. I turn it on, I let them see that it's silent and that it's stress-free, and then I show them the photographs of the results. And I would say probably about 80% of the time the clients book in, so that's good.
You know, it's really important that you say that about the photographs, because I think a picture tells 1,000 words, doesn't it? And if you start putting out client testimonials and the photos, the befores and afters, they're so powerful. We obviously have a mobile phone at the shop for business use, and we will send the client the before and after photos on WhatsApp. And they like, oh, I want those photos to show my partner to see, because they're like, well, teeth, what difference they're going to make on their teeth. And they're like, no, I want the photos. I want to show my partner what you've done in your salon today, and how you've really helped the teeth. And so, and then those go on to social media, and that's like, you just get that constant stream of inquiries, don't you, from it?
That's a really good way of marketing, isn't it? Because if you send it before and after through WhatsApp, they'll share it, won't they, on the social media and things. So that's really good. That's
it. You know, pictures. We've all got this tool in our pocket. You know, the mobile phone is so powerful. And document what you're doing and celebrate it with your clients. And then, like you said, you've got your photo album. You know, if you said to someone, oh, what does it do? You say, well, it does this. And you just show them the photos, don't you? They can't really say much more about it, can they?
No.
So, pricing wise, you display your prices. Yeah. We've talked about this before, haven't we?
Yeah.
What do we do about pricing? Does it come with a recommended retail price, or is pricing down to you? Where do you go with that?
I think every groomer will be different in the geographical area in the country of what they're charging. After I spoke with you, I did put my prices up a little bit, because I'm a bit of a stickler for not putting my prices up. So my prices had been the same for quite a while, and then after taking your advice, I put my prices up. So
What happened?
well, nobody's batted an eyelid, and people are coming in and they're buying like the intro session with the block course. So people are coming in and spending about £160 all in one big payment, and they're not flinching. So that's good.
Nice little package there. You've done them up a nice little package. And how much sort of money did you put up your prices by?
The intro session I did extra £10 on.
Yeah.
And the pay-as-you-go session, I put an extra £5 on. So baby steps, but yeah, I might look at it again in the new year and maybe do a little increase again.
Definitely. So when you buy the toothbrush and the kit, does it come with any recommendations, or is it literally just down to you as to what you want to price it at?
Well, when I'm selling kits to dog groomers, I will send them instructions. Then I also send them an email disclaimer that I use in my salon, and it has my pricing structure on there. So I send them that via email, and then they can put their own logo on and they can adapt it to their prices. So then they've got the disclaimer, it's got all the word in there, and they can just use that if they want to. They can copy my prices if they want, or they could do it higher, or I wouldn't recommend doing it lower.
No.
But yeah.
Okay, cool. And we started using it, and you know, customers were loving it. We were really enjoying offering it to the customers, but we were finding that they were getting their dog's teeth really nice and shiny and looking really good. The gums were really healthy and nice and pink, and then they just disappear for sort of 6 months. And the issue with that is when the dog comes back to us after 6 months, the teeth are like all furred up again, aren't they? It's not a silver bullet. We brush our teeth like every day, and we try and explain this to the customers. You know, you brush your teeth every day. You can't just brush your dog's teeth every 6 months. So how often do you recommend that dogs come in and see you?
So it comes down to educating the client, and sometimes it can be really difficult, because I liken it as like an analogy. I'll say it's like going to the gym. If you go to the gym, you know, every week, or, you know, 3 times a week, you get this amazing body. And then you're like, right, I've got the body of my dreams now, right? I can stop going to the gym and I don't need to do anymore. And then you leave yourself for 6 months. Well, you're not going to look the same. You're going to, you know, start having love handles and things. So I say that it's exactly the same with the teeth cleaning. You've had a block of sessions, all, you know, relatively close together. You've got this gorgeous white teeth, lovely pink gums. Then you're going to leave it for 6 months. Well, 6 months time, the teeth and gums are just going to regress right back to where they were before. So then that client needs to go into a maintenance schedule. So you would decide for that dog, does it need to come every 3 weeks, 4 weeks, or can it go to 6 weeks? So every dog's different, and it depends on the dog's enamel texture, the dog's age, what the dog's diet is. But by monitoring that dog, so you might say, right, well, we'll bring your dog in every 4 weeks. And if that's working okay, you might be able to push it out to 5 weeks. But I certainly wouldn't let the client go any longer than 6 weeks, because that's when you start to see the problems coming. And I always sell the client Orozyme gel as well. So I sell the Orozyme. A lot of groomers that offer the Emmipet get the Orozyme gel. I make the clients buy that, and it's just a veterinary gel. It's got a mild abrasive in it, and they just, at the end of the day, when the dog's had its last meal of the day, they just rub it over the teeth with the finger, and that just keeps everything at bay, so that between visits the dog's teeth are still being looked after at home.
Pristine Orozyme gel kept in the client's mental peace, because I can't, it's a bit like brushing your dog, isn't it? So we obviously had lockdown, so we sort of sat around and discussed the teeth cleaning service, and how maybe, you know, it was working really well, but maybe how it wasn't working as well as we wanted it to be. So we came out of lockdown, and we became a bit more stricter with the clients, and sort of said, look, this does work, it's really good service, but you need to do it regularly. And so if we don't see people after a certain amount of time, we will actually say, well, we're going to start again, and we're going to go back to that initial price for the initial clean. So just to encourage them to book in. So you know, we see some dogs every 4 weeks, 6 weeks with their groom, or they might just come in just for teeth cleaning. So it's the same as, you know, getting a dog onto a schedule. That's what you want to be doing with the teeth cleaning, isn't it? And then those follow-up appointments are between 15 and 20 minutes long, aren't they? They're not massive appointments.
And that's the beauty of it as well, because when you get to those like follow-up appointments, if you're like, I'm going to start doing teeth cleaning on Saturdays and just really blocking in the teeth cleaning for myself to do. And if you're doing those little short sessions, the little maintenance sessions that you see the dog, you know, in those sessions, and you can fit maybe 3 or 4 teeth cleaning into the space of an hour, that's where you make your really, really good money, because you can make a lot more money doing that than you can grafting away at the grooming table. Yeah,
so each one of those sessions, 15 to 20 minutes, they're going to be between sort of 25 and 30, maybe £35 per session, aren't they? Depending on how brave you are with your pricing. But yeah, you can fit them in and get those done, and you know, the dog's the one that's going to be benefit from it as well. So you're making money, but you're also really benefiting the dogs. So obviously we're not vets, we're not trained, but are there any sort of particular things that you teach people or tell people to look out for when you're actually looking in a dog's mouth? Are those like actual no-nos? You can't you know, can't use a toothbrush on that, like a bit like Emma finding a cracked molar, you know, straight back to the vets, please. The vets did actually miss that one. But yeah, straight back to the vets, we can't do anything about it. But is there anything that you sort of tell people as a no-no?
Yeah, so when I offer Emmipet Zoom training. So when I do that, I go through all the different dental conditions that you can encounter when you go through your consultation with your client's dog's teeth. The things that you can see and you can actually work on the dog's teeth. So things like just a little bit of tartar, a little bit of plaque. And then there's like your more, where the teeth have been neglected. So you've got things like gingivitis, you've got things like abscesses, and you've got things like wobbly teeth, all those sorts of things. So that's when you need to be saying, this dog needs to see a vet. Your local vets will respect you a hell of a lot more for doing that, and you can have a beautiful, harmonious relationship with each other. So your vet can be referring all of their clients, once they've done the dental work, they can be saying, go to the groomers and have this teeth maintenance done. You can also be checking all your clients' teeth on the grooming table, and the ones that are beyond Emmipet, you can be sending to the vets to get the big dental work done, and then hopefully the vets will send them back to you for maintenance. But I would say anything like this kind of situation.
So a little bit of tartar and
yeah, so that's like when you need to be sending your dog to the vets to get its teeth done, because it's got you see the gingivitis here, and the gum is actually receding away from the teeth. There's loads and loads of tartar going on there. Really, really unhealthy looking.
Broken teeth.
Yeah.
Teeth.
Yeah.
Root being exposed, pulp being exposed, anything that's not smooth on the top of the teeth, stuff like that. You know, and you're right. We do obviously try and have that relationship with the vets, and we do refer the dogs back to the vets, and we're very honest with our customers and say, look, we've had a look and there's certain issues there we can't do. And it is nice, we do have some vets locally to us that do send their clients to us, because maybe they have an elderly dog and they don't want to put it under anaesthetic, or, you know, maybe it's not, the teeth problems aren't as bad as it needs for a vet, so they actually get referrals, and we get vets coming to us with their dogs as well. So that's quite nice to see, isn't it?
Yeah.
So with actually using it on a dog, obviously you're going to be doing it on a Saturday, you're going to be working on your own. Is that something that a lone groomer can use?
Yeah, lone groomers can use this. It's any sort of groomers can be offering this service. So you could mobile groomers could be doing this, or people could you know, pet professionals could just be using this and just do a mobile teeth cleaning. I've sold brushes to dog walkers and people that have doggy daycare, and also dog groomers. So pet professionals, you know, all across the board could be offering the Emmipet service.
And how do you deal with those difficult dogs? Is it just perseverance, or do you have any special headlock techniques like that?
I'm pretty lucky in my salon because it is fit for purpose and it's purpose built. When I'm doing the larger dogs, I don't put them on the grooming table to do the teeth. It's just the way that I like to do it. I have, you know, like an equine hairnet ring. I have one of them drilled into the wall. Right. And what I do is I put vet bed on the floor and I just put the dog on a little noose and attach it to the wall, and I just sit on the floor with the dog and do its teeth that way. I certainly wouldn't work with any dogs that had questionable temperaments and be putting my hands in the mouth. So I probably wouldn't get to that point where I was trying to do Emmipet on a difficult dog, because I think grooming's one thing, because you can muzzle the dog, or you could, you know, have another groomer helping you, or you could put one of them veterinary cones around so that they can't swipe at you, or use your groomer's helper. But with teeth cleaning, you need to get in the mouth. So I just don't put myself in that situation. Touch wood, I haven't had any dogs that have been really aggressive with the Emmipet.
No, that's it. And your hands are your tools of your trade. So you certainly need to be looking after that, don't you? And if the dog's getting too stressed, then that's obviously not good for the dog either, is it? So
yeah. I think you're not going to get anywhere with the Emmipet if your dog's really, really distressed. So it would be time just to call the session off and maybe recommend that the dog gets its teeth done at the vet. Because grooming's one thing, because you could, you know, use your groomer's helper and hold the dog in place while you're getting around the back of its leg or something, but you actually need to get in the dog's mouth. So aggressive dogs and things that are snacking at your toothbrush, I just wouldn't even entertain the idea.
Fair enough. That's good. Now I've spoken to people over the past couple of months and said, oh, how about teeth cleaning? And they've said to me, yeah, I've bought the toothbrush and I've tried it on my own dogs, and something I'd probably recommend is trying it on your own dogs first to build up that confidence and to see like how it's working and stuff. And they've sort of said, well, I've not really found it work. Is there any sort of common mistakes that you find people make with these toothbrushes, or anything that they need to sort of really know about to try and make it work better?
Well, one of my grooming friends recently, she bought the Emmipet second generation toothbrush off me, and she was trying to get results on her dog's teeth, and she was not getting the results that she wanted. And then she showed me a picture of the toothbrush, and the light wasn't working properly. And I said, what's the light doing? I said, and then when we had this discussion with each other, it turned out that there was the light was flashing. And I said, I think that you might need to replace the head. There must be damage to the bristles. And as soon as she replaced the head, she put toothpaste and water on. She gave the dog another session. The dog's teeth came up great, because she'd been persevering with this dog's teeth, not realizing that the brush head bristles had been broken. So it was that it was never going to work on the dog's teeth.
Yeah, because the brush is silent, isn't it? So you're not going to know, unless you look at that light, you're not going to know how whether it's working or not.
And sometimes as well, it's technique. People might be rushing around the dog's teeth too quickly with the toothbrush and not holding it against the tooth for long enough, or not replenishing the toothpaste and the water. So yeah, I've got a little Facebook group called Emmi-Pet Made Simple with the Dog's Tooth Fairy, and if anybody wanted to follow that, you can ask me questions. There's a few videos on there and things, so people can go on there and get some advice and support.
Awesome. I'll put those links in the chat afterwards. Cool. So there's a few questions. Let me just scroll back up the chat. We've done that one. We'll talk about buying it in a bit, and distribution and any offers that you might be having up your sleeve. Where are we? A few people that do dogs and cats. All right, we've done sort of pricing. How much are the heads? So they're £5 something, aren't they? Too.
Yeah, there's £6 individually, or you can buy a 14 pack, which is £70. So they work out of £5 per brush head if you buy the pack of 14.
Yeah, I think we charge around £8 something to the customer for the brush head. Yeah. You know, we're talking about pricing. It's all down to individuals as to how they want to package it up. I would say be brave with your pricing. You know, the toothbrush can offer you and your customers and the the dogs a lot of value and can really help the dog. Remember, the teeth is like the pathway to the rest of the organs, and that, you know, if we can have really good clean teeth, it can really help the dog. So think about that when you're pricing, and also think about the photos that you can be putting out there and the value that you can be adding.
And I think a lot of dog owners aren't aware that if a dog gets a really bad you know, tooth or gum infection and it gets into the bloodstream, then it can affect the organs and the heart. And, you know, a lot of clients aren't aware of that. And I think the worst case that I ever seen, we kept telling this client, take your dog to the vet to get a dental, take your dog to the vet and get a dental. And it was kind of falling upon deaf ears. And my employee was washing the dog's muzzle in the bath, and she went, "What's this?" And the tooth had actually fallen out when my groomer was washing the face.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a bit of a horror story.
All these things that us groomers see. Laura's asked, with heavy build-up, how many sessions would you recommend?
Right, so with heavy build-up, I would always get my clients to buy a block plan, because then you get you get them to actually take some ownership of the dog's dental health, and they're usually a lot more diligent. So if they've bought a block plan off you and you say, right, you need to come 3 times this week, they will come 3 times that week if they can. If they're doing pay as you go and they're just paying you each time, they might go, well, I might just leave it for a week and a half because I've got to factor that cost in. So if the dog's got heavy tartar, then I sell the block plan. So that would be the intro session, which is always a standalone session in my salon. And then they can decide to either do pay as you go, which I tend to steer people towards if they've got light plaque and tartar and it's not so major. If they've got really heavy tartar, I make them buy a block plan of 10 sessions. So how many sessions they would need would completely depend on the level of tartar that dog's got. You might get the teeth looking really nice after, you know, 3 or 4 sessions. You might need more. But if there's sessions left at the end of that plan, then they can just be used as the ongoing maintenance sessions anyway.
Yeah, it's having that honest and open conversation with the customer, isn't it? Just saying that I really can't tell you how long it's going to take. It could be 1, could be 3, could be 5. Just, I suppose, limiting their expectations or managing their expectations, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, with grooming, you can look at a dog and you can say, right, the Shih Tzu is going to take an hour and a half. But when it's the teeth, you really don't know until you get that toothbrush on the dog's mouth and you start working with the teeth, because some plaque and tartar will come away really easily, and with other dogs it's like cemented onto the teeth because it's been there for that long. So every dog's different, and it is very much like how long's a piece of string. And also their temperament as well, and how much they tolerate it, I suppose. Yeah. So I think we've answered Elizabeth's question about how often. Try and get them coming in regularly. Something that we do is we offer a direct debit system, so people can pay monthly, and they just have their sessions booked in and just come in every 6 weeks, but they pay monthly, so it spreads the cost out throughout the year. Cool. Put your important stuff on direct debit, so why not put your dog care on direct debit as well? That sounds awesome. Does somebody monitor that just to make sure that payments don't bounce and things?
Yeah, we use a company called Go Cardless. So if someone doesn't, if the money isn't, it's a direct debit, so we control it. So obviously they can cancel it and we can cancel it, but we can change it and alter it. And if it goes in to take the payment and the money's not there, it will go back in and you get emails. And you sit there and you just see emails pinging saying, you know, £30 just hit your account or whatever. So, and we do it for dog grooming and teeth cleaning as well. So
that sounds really good.
Something to consider. And again, if you're getting pain points from your customers, so if you're getting people saying, I'd really love to use a service, but I just can't quite afford it, direct debit. You know, we can book you in every 6 weeks and spread the cost out over the whole 12 months. Yeah. So again, it encourages people, like you said, have a bit of skin in the game, have a bit of ownership, and also we're looking after the dogs as well from it. So something to consider. Elizabeth's on fire tonight. She's got loads of questions. How long does the actual toothbrush, so the machine, often last, and how often does it need replacing?
So the machine, I've had my original machine since my original handset since 2018. So that's lasted 3 years. And I've got to be honest and say it's been kicked off the table, it's been knocked on the floor, and it's been absolutely fine. They're manufactured in Germany, so they're not made with cheap quality materials. They're not manufactured in China or anything like that. They're really good quality, and they all come with a 2-year warranty. So if there's any mechanical failure with the handset at all, you go back to your distributor where you've bought it from. If you've bought it from Emmipet directly, you can go through them, but it is a lot better to go through a distributor, because if you're going through a distributor, you would come directly to the distributor and your distributor would sort the replacement out for you. But in all my years of distributing, like 2 years of distributing, I've sold quite a lot of toothbrushes now, and I've only ever had to replace one thing, and it was just the charger base. Yeah. So they are really well made.
I think that's quite important to point out, that these toothbrushes, the 2 systems, are actually made by international companies. This isn't like you said, this isn't an import from China. This isn't someone in the shed making it up. These are proper international companies that have put a lot of research and a lot of money into manufacturing these, and they're probably sold worldwide, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Certainly in Europe, I do get people from Australia and all sorts of places trying to get me to like ship them out there to them. It's not something that I've done yet. I just tend to distribute within the UK, but I might look into international shipping at some point.
Get over those customs forms.
Yeah.
Helen is interested to see if there's any legislation that groomers should abide by when offering the service. Is that something that cover on your courses? The main bit of legislation that you would have to be aware of, I guess, is the veterinary Surgeons Act, because there is a little piece that it's like lay persons, which will be classed as groomers and things, shouldn't be diagnosing oral health problems. So we're not allowed to say to a client, I think that your dog's got an abscess in its mouth, you need to go to the vet about it. So you can just, if you look at a dog's mouth and you think this dog needs to see a vet, then you would say to the client, your dog needs to go to the vet with these teeth. You can't use any sharp instruments and things when doing the dog's teeth. So you should never be using the dental scrapers or anything like that. So the little scrapers that some dog show people use and things, you shouldn't be buying your own equipment and using anything that's really sharp and metal. And again, it's making sure you do what you're comfortable and you're happy with, isn't it?
Yeah.
Helen has gone back to how many sessions. I think that's pretty much answered, isn't it? How long's a piece of string with some dogs? Temperament, build up, whether it's old or new build up. So Elaine is asking, how does the training work? So do you want to tell a little bit about your online training that you do?
Yeah, so the online training is it's taught via Zoom. So I tend to keep the numbers quite intimate on them courses, because the Q&A, I don't want it to be overwhelming and for people not to be able to speak if they want to ask things. It's generally 1.5 hours to 2 hours. There's some demonstrational videos on there. I go through all the different dental health problems that you might encounter, methods of how to use the toothbrush. I also go through how to do a consultation with your client, what things to be getting them to sign, disclaimers. And then I also go through the different equipment and tools that you will need to run Emmipet in your business. I go through pricing and I go through how to market it as well.
Awesome. How long is that normally? How long is the course?
It's around about 2 hours long. It's 1.5 hours, and then usually about half an hour of questions and answers at the end. You get a little certificate of attendance with your name on as well, so you'll be able to share that on your social media or print it off and put it on your salon wall.
Excellent. Okay, let's just have a look. Elizabeth again. Do you sell groomer starter packs where everything is included?
Yeah, so the main offer that I have at the moment is the Crufts deal, and this is really, really popular with the dog groomers. So with the Crufts deal, you get the Emmipet 2nd generation toothbrush, which I think is twice as powerful. I've used it on when I've started to use it on the dogs, I'm just seeing that the teeth are coming up clean in half the time. So you get the 2nd generation starter kit, which comes with a large brush head and a small brush head, and then you get 1 tube of toothpaste, and you get the charger and the adapter plug. And then on top of that, you get all the extras. So the extras that you get 5 tubes of toothpaste, you get an additional 4 small and 4 large brush heads, and then you get an additional 3 packs of rosewood sticks. So all the extras alone are worth an extra £100. I do that for £220, and it comes with free postage and everything, and I send everything next day, special delivery, and I send it special delivery just so it's insured, and it'll get there by 1 o'clock.
Awesome. Have you got loads in stock?
I've got plenty in stock at the moment.
Excellent. Laura's asked, should the light come up green whilst on charge? She's had it on charge for 24 hours and it's still red.
If you've just got your Emmipet charger, have you got the brush head on top of it? Because the brush head should always be on while you're charging. So if the brush head is on the device and it's charging, it should be blue. And then when it's fully charged, it goes green. Cool.
Maybe she can catch up with you privately.
Yeah, the brush head always needs to be on when you're charging it.
Excellent. Yeah, we've covered training. Lauren wants to know what's the special Bills group price. sorry, we discussed, was it?
Oh, well, anybody that's watching this, that wants the Crufts deal, I'll do it for 200.
There you go, 200. £200 is the Crufts.
Yeah, but only until the end of this week.
Wow. You got people signing up already. Elizabeth signed up.
So only until the end of, we'll say only until the end of July.
End of July.
For anybody watching on playback.
Excellent. End of July, £200, and it's normally.
Well, it's got a saving of like £100 factored into it anyway. So when I bought my original Emmipet toothbrush, it was literally £199 just for the toothbrush alone. So for all the extras that you get that are worth £100, and you get the postage and everything, it's just an amazing deal. I wish it was around when I was getting my Emmipet, because I spent a lot more on all the extras.
I feel like I'm on one of those QVC channels, because everyone's yes, sounds good. Fab. Sounds.
Honestly, my mum raised me on QVC, so I must be. It must have went in somehow.
We'll put all the links. We'll put all the links to how to get hold of you in the chat, and then obviously onto YouTube as well. So let's have a look. Bill, does the Crufts deal include? Does the Crufts deal include your training? I think that's probably separate, isn't it? That's a lot to ask. The
training is separate. It's £40 for the training, and it's 2 hours, and you get a certificate at the end of it. So yeah, the reviews for the training has been really, really good. So if you go to my Facebook page, the Dog Tooth Fairy, there's testimonials on there and everything from people that have done the course already. Excellent. And let's talk about distribution. So you're obviously a distributor with Angela. Angela's been watching, by the way, no pressure. So how did you get into that, and what have been the benefits of becoming a distributor for you personally and for you as a business? So Angela is my Emmipet upline, so I call her my Emmipet boss, but she doesn't like me to call her an Emmipet boss, but she's absolutely amazing. And she's just absolutely fantastic and a role model to me, because I look up to her because she's so super with the Emmipet distributing that she does. So what finally made me decide to start doing the distributing is that when you become a distributor, you automatically get 24% discount off your products. So there's no sales targets either. So even if you want to be like a lazy distributor and you just want to get your unlimited 24% off for the rest of your life, you could sign up and become a distributor and get your 20% off. So that sorry, 24%. So I think you have to do like a tiny little sale, but it is really good. So that's what kind of reeled me in initially, was just the discount off the products, because I was using a lot of products in my salon. So I thought I'd get some discount off this. And I didn't really do a great deal with the distributing all through 2019. I sold a couple of kits, but I didn't really put myself out there. And then the first lockdown happened, and I just thought, oh my God, like my mortgage is going out, my salon bills are going out. What the hell am I going to do? And so the distributing really like helped. It was like a comfort blanket. So I could do online sales while my salon was closed. So that was a real help. But groomers at the time were being quite cautious about spending until grants and things started coming through. So what I did find I was selling a lot of in the first lockdown was the PPE, the masks. So that was the first lockdown. But then when the grants started coming through, a lot of groomers were like, I want to try something different. So the groomers started buying more kits. And then my distributing's been really, really good. And then I had a baby last year. And then obviously I've been off on maternity leave, but since I've had my child, just everything's changed completely. And I've really taken like a step back from the grooming table. Mm-hmm. And I'm doing more things to fit around my daughter and my new lifestyle. So the distributing works really well for that. So I can kind of be watching her and then just taking orders and packing things up. So it fits really nicely into my lifestyle. Yeah.
Do you just order the brushes as you get orders in, or do you hold a stock?
I hold a permanent stock, so I always have loads of brushes, toothpastes and everything like that. So when the stock tends to dip a tiny little bit, I just ship it all in from Germany. So it's always good to go, and I never let my stock dip to the levels where, because there's nothing worse if people are saying I want this and I want that, and then I have to like say, oh well, we'll have to wait a week till it comes from Germany. So I try and keep my stock replenished all the time.
And do I mention Brexit? Is it causing any issues for you, or is it all going on?
Yeah, there is import duties and things like that they can whack on. So I factor that into my prices. So I'm importing the things in, and I just factor that in.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
But I have to explain to people as well when they go through my web shop that if they order things in through the web shop, that they may encounter those import fees.
Yeah, they're kind of out of our control at the moment, aren't they? So if anyone is interested in doing the distribution, do they contact you, or do they go to Angela, or? Yeah,
so they can come to me if they want to join my team. So I can give them all the help and the support that they need to become a distributor. It's been brilliant for me because since I had my baby, I had a difficult birth and I've been left like physically not very healthy at all. So I've tried to come back to grooming, and it's just not feasible anymore. So I'm sticking to the teeth cleaning because it's a lot less labor intensive. It's a lot kinder to the body. So I'm just sticking to the teeth cleaning now and the distributing. But this is why Emmipet's so good for any groomers that have been in this game for a long time. They might have troubled backs or other problems, physiological problems. The Emmipet is a lot less at work. It's a lot less wear and tear on the body, and it's an easier way of making money.
Yeah, definitely. It's it is a great service to offer your clients, and it's really good for your dogs as well. So it's a win-win, isn't it? Yeah. Elizabeth's not giving up with her questions. She's still going. On your training, do you give an idea of how much you should be charging? I think you do go over pricing, don't you?
Yeah, I go through pricing in the Zoom training, and then you would just decide whether you thought that you were going to go with my prices, or if you want to be a little bit braver, charge a little bit more. Yeah.
Be brave with your pricing. Test them. Take your prices off and just test them with your clients and see where they bat an eyelid when you sort of say how much it's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also some suggestions on how you can store the brush heads. We have them in these small compartments. I'm trying to think what it is. It's like something you put tie. If you imagine like a tie rack, like
Yeah.
lots of little compartments with ties in. And
I'll show you my storage. We might do the same thing as each other.
Yeah, I think we just use like a tie rack, which has got loads of little pouches in it, and each one has got a toothbrush head in, and the toothbrush head are named.
That's what I use.
Is that a specific? Is that something specific sold for Emmipet or?
No, you get these on Amazon, eBay, and they're called jewelry organizers.
There you go.
And they're double-sided, so you can, like, this one hasn't got many in, but I've got another one of these that's packed full front and back. But yeah, they're just great. And then I put little sticky labels with the dog's name on so that they're easy to find.
That's it. There you go. So it's actually quite nice and easy to store away as well.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, I think the questions have dried up, which is good. It means we've answered it all and everyone's sorted. Thank you so much for your time. And at the end of this, I'll make sure that all the social media links, website addresses, email addresses, telephone numbers, all updated on the chat so that they can take that £200 offer on, Bill's group offer, cross offer. Are you going to be at any of the shows over the next few months? Can people come and say hi?
Do you know what? I haven't really thought about it because with having such a little baby, I haven't really. I don't really go to any shows. There is an amazing one in the Northeast, which is at Kirkley Hall in Northumberland. It's called the Dog Festival or something, but it was cancelled last year because of COVID. And I did actually think about going and having a stall there this year, but then I haven't. So.
Well, Groomfest is September, and I've found out today they've got spare trade stalls going. So if you want to fancy doing that, bring your little one along, say hello. Yeah. But yeah, you've been really good to speak to you. I've been wanting to speak to someone for a long time about it, so that we can sort of get the knowledge out there, try and alleviate some of the fear within people's businesses. It's a really good add-on for you to have within your business. People are still saying, how do we get hold of you? It's like, I'll put all the links in the chat, don't worry. And you've got plenty of stock, so I think you'll be all right. Laura's just saying, can you start distributing in Spain? Because she's out working in Spain.
I don't know, you might be able to get from Emmipet directly, because I know that Germany, I'm not quite sure whereabouts in Europe they distribute to, but I would think
there'd be no point in going to you and then you shipping them back out to Spain. She'd probably just goes direct to the company and set it up herself.
If you're in Europe, you might be better going through Emmipet directly. I tend to just distribute in the UK at the moment. Yeah,
awesome. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Where's your little one at the moment?
Oh, I got a babysat because, and I'm actually in my grooming salon as well because it's a lot quieter here. Yeah. But yeah, I've tried to do a live with her before and it was just a bit of a nightmare.
Right, awesome. We'll let you go now, and everyone's like really enjoyed the chat and they're all saying thank you, and I'll let you, obviously you can go and read through all the comments afterwards in the group. And then obviously if you've missed this, you can watch it on replay within the group, or you can go and watch it on YouTube, or listen to it as a podcast a bit later on. The offer might not be around by then, but you can still listen to it and hear all about the Emmipet system. Okay, thanks a lot, and catch up with you soon. Hopefully might see you in person at some point.
Thanks, Bill.